Welcome to Being Authentic AF. I'm Alexis Franzese, a university professor, licensed psychologist, speaker, consultant, and mom with over 20 years of experience studying authenticity. This podcast explores what authenticity means and how to embrace it in your life and relationships. It's for anyone seeking to better understand their own authenticity and how it shapes our connections with others, from kids to colleagues. Through reflections and conversations with entrepreneurs, we'll share strategies to uncover who you authentically are and want to be. Life's curveballs are opportunities to grow, adapt, and uncover or rediscover your authentic self. Join me as we explore how to know yourself, be yourself, and evolve yourself, unlocking the path to truly being authentic AF. Welcome to Being Authentic AF. I'm your host, Dr. Alexis Franzese. I'm here today with Melanie Spencer. In 2021, Melanie launched her business, Morsel Envy, which does food photography for bloggers. Prior to that, Melanie worked as an airline attendant and also did work in direct sales. I'm privileged to call Melanie a friend, and our sons are quite close, and we've been able to spend quite a bit of time getting to know each other. I first learned about Melanie's business when we were on an outing, and I said, Melanie, what do you do in addition to taking care of 4 kids? And she said, well, actually, I have a food photography business. And she was so casual about it. And then I said, oh, I'd love to see some of your photographs. She then proceeded to show me some of the most exquisite food photography that I've ever seen. So Melanie, I am so happy that you're here with me today to talk about authenticity. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Okay. That's going to make me cry saying
So to start, I want to ask you what authenticity means to you. How do you define authenticity?
I like just being honest and real about things. And I mean, especially in food photography, I know there is a whole section of food photography where they use fake food or like prop things up or use things that aren't food. So with food photography for bloggers, my goal is to make recipes that other moms can make. So I always try and represent everything accurately so that another mom could make it and not have this picture like, oh, I can't make that because it wasn't real food. But I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome hearing about how you do that. So do you feel like you've ever been asked to do a photo shoot where you felt like it wasn't as authentic as you wanted it to be?
Yes. And I have steered away from clients like that because there are some people who just make it look good. But I want to have something out there that somebody can make. So if I'm making something look good and I'm having to tweak it here and there, then I don't feel like that's very authentic.
All good.
Whatever. Yeah.
So people come to you with recipes that they want you to prepare and then document along the way?
Yeah, most of the time they've given me a recipe and then they want me to either photograph the steps along the way and then the final images, or they have previously photographed it and they want those photos updated because a lot of these blogs started a long time ago before photography was really a big part of it, or their budget wasn't as high. So it was cell phone shots, poor lighting, and stuff like that didn't really represent the food accurately. So
Awesome. So I'm going to switch us a little to talking about what authenticity means to you personally and your experiences over your life. So a lot of people say that it's in middle school that they first start to think that they might have a true self and a false self. And I'm wondering what age you were, if you have any memories around that becoming relevant for you.
Yeah, definitely 6th grade. I was really trying to be popular and fit in, and I definitely tried to do things that I thought were the popular thing, like wear certain clothes, act a certain way, and just I don't know why, but I found this group of kids that I really wanted them to like me. And in the end, it didn't work out very well, but I just felt like I was always like, I don't know, just I had to be on a certain time. Like I had to like say certain things, act a certain way. And I that was middle school, 6th grade. And having a son now in 6th grade, I see those like anxieties popping up. And for me, it's like seeing my kids not be authentic and seeing them change who like I feel like they are to fit in, that's hard for me. Like, I know I went through that, but seeing them do that. And so I feel like I need to be truly who I am so that they have permission to be who they're meant to be.
And model that for them. So when you witness that, when you see your kids kind of altering their self-presentation, do you say anything? How do you approach that with the kids?
It's hard, like, without throwing my kids under the bus. I just, try and clarify, like, is this really what you want? Or is this something maybe somebody said? Or is this what you want to wear? Are you sure? Because a week ago, you had something different. And did somebody say something? Did something happen? And I feel like they need to experience that too. Like, they need to go through this certain struggle stage to find out who they are in the end. Because I feel like middle school especially, you're trying out different personalities, trying out what fits best for you. So
yeah, I don't think you're throwing them under the bus at all. I think they're actually fortunate to have you so tuned into that for them. And, the research shows that they're doing all the things that they should be doing, that this is just a process developmentally that happens around that age, as you shared experiencing it. I certainly experienced. And I do think we figure out what really matters to us as part of that process. So how has your sense of authenticity changed over the course of your life? From that time in sixth grade, how has it evolved?
Well, sixth grade really, I look back at myself now in sixth grade and be like, what was I doing? Like, literally everything I feel like was very fake and very I would go to school. I didn't wear my glasses because glasses weren't cool. So I literally could not see. So I would walk around the hallways and I couldn't see. And I had all this makeup on and I wore certain clothes. I always wore pants and jeans because jeans were cool. And now you'll rarely see me in jeans because I don't think they're comfortable. But just like I had to be this certain person. So I would go to school like looking one way and at school put on all this whole face of makeup. I don't even know how I walked around and like didn't stumble, I think, because I am really blind because glasses weren't cool. So I would just walk around and try and be cool by looking a certain way. But
well, when did you start to feel like you were shifting out of that?
I started playing field hockey, which was really off the radar. I was never an athletic kid, but I felt like it was safe to play field hockey because nobody knew how to play. So if I was really bad, that other people probably were really bad too, so that it was like acceptable. Whereas other sports like soccer, kids have been playing for years and stuff. So I was like, I can't play that. But field hockey, like, nobody seems like they know what that is either. So, and then just meeting people who were focused on like improving their athletic ability and not focusing on impressing people. So I changed my focus into like making myself better instead of trying to impress other people and be what I thought they wanted me to be. So
that's awesome. And I love that insight about getting into a setting surrounded by other novices as a way to kind of test it out and be more comfortable just being yourself, being around other people who kind of don't have mastery over the topic as well. That's awesome. So I want to think about the role of authenticity in your decision to start your business. So I know you worked as an airline attendant. I have lots of authenticity questions. We're going to loop back to that. But for now, tell me about launching Morsel Envy and the role of authenticity in that.
Well, I had previously worked in direct sales and for a company that I really started to question their values, and I knew I wanted to steer away from that. And when I started in food photography, I had taken a picture. And it was actually my birthday, so it's almost my birthday's tomorrow. So it's almost like a full cycle. But I take a picture for my birthday of a birthday cake that I was having, and I was just trying to like style it. And I was like, wipe the plate clean. And I put it online, and the restaurant ended up using that photo.
Wow. And
so at the time I was in to photo editing, and I posted in my photography group, like, what should I do? They just kind of took this photo and didn't credit me or anything. And they said, well, with your business, do you have insurance? Do you have like this? I was like, I don't have a food photography business at that point. But it kind of made me realize that I could do this and that I wanted to do this. Yeah. So it was like, oh, this is something I enjoy doing. And somebody sees the potential for this to be like profitable, so that maybe this could be something that down the road could be profitable. So it was like staying true to something that I knew I would enjoy, and then also finding something I could do at home, because not leaving my kids when they were little was important to me. So
I always think about authenticity as living in a way that reflects your core values. And it sounds like you had a value around being at home, being available to your kids, and that this was kind of could complement that. And you could do both of those things.
Yeah, definitely. And just, I don't know, like there are certain companies that I think I would love to work for, and then I will research them more. And if there's like a certain line that like if they do something a certain way, or like I just can't get behind. And I mean, even the company that I was previously working for, like I made decent money starting out, but I mean, just their values were really shifting. And I did some sports photography early on, and it was really hard because I liked working with kids. It was all with kids, but I didn't like the way the kids were being treated, because the guy who I worked with was just like get in, get out. And like kids are like, oh, do this. I don't mind spending a few extra minutes with kids. And it's just, I don't know, it's a certain, like I am a really horrible liar and I can't like lie to people. So it's like when I say like we have 1,000 kids, I have to get going. But then it's like, here's a little kid that wants to do something. Like, how are you, I don't know, just... I probably cut this out.
No, I appreciate you saying this because it sounds like values were really, really central. And one of the reasons I think Morsel Envy has been so successful is because you're able to act in a values aligned way. You can spend as much time as you want, kind of do the things in the ways that resonate for you. So Melanie, one of the reasons I think Morsel Envy has been so successful is because you're operating in such values aligned ways. And I'm curious about wearing the hat of being an entrepreneur and if that feels values aligned for you.
I don't know. I mean, I enjoy being an entrepreneur. I can't picture myself saying I'm an entrepreneur. So that's hard.
I was going to say, do you actually think about yourself in that
I feel
way?
like I have this business, but it's hard for me to be like, I mean, I don't feel like I reinvented anything or that because it's me, and every now and then I'll hire a couple employees, but it's still very weird for me to say that.
What feels funny or scary about claiming that?
I don't know. I mean, literally like the time I filed taxes as a business, that was the first time I felt legit. I was like, because I'd been doing it before. And I'm like, okay, I have a business license. I have, filing taxes, but I don't know, it's still weird. And even still, like, people be like, oh, what do you do? And I'll be like, oh, I take pictures. Like, I don't.
Yeah, you have always been very, very casual about it with me. Yeah. And I had to, I was wowed when I saw the scope of what you're doing and how well you're doing it. Yeah. So you're very humble about it. It's interesting to think through why that, like, claiming that might feel challenging to you. So I want to ask you, you mentioned that you sometimes have to hire people to assist. How do you feel that you uphold the authenticity of the people that you hire?
I had the one girl who's my main editor. I've known her before this. We did some volunteer work prior to this. So I feel like I know her values as a person, and I know, like, I literally just set a preset of how things should go, and she follows that. And anytime I've come to her and been like, this isn't working, she's very receptive to tweaking things, or, I mean, she's honestly amazing. I wish I could hire her more, but I only hire when I'm like super busy and I can't keep up with it. And then even clients, I'll be honest with them. I'll be like, I am hiring somebody out for this session. If anything looks different, if anything's off, just let me know so that I can adjust it. So it's not like secretive or hiding anything.
So you bring transparency to your interactions with your clients. And then it sounds like you also really think about the values of the people that you're working with, which is really responsive. I don't know if all of us get that in our workplaces, people who are thinking about what matters to us. How do you feel like you learned what her values are?
Well, we volunteered together. There's a group of NICU photographers who go in and they photograph babies in the NICU. So she and I worked together with that when my oldest son was just born, or early on. So just, interacting with her, seeing how she runs her business. She's very open and honest, and just, I feel like her character is very strong. And just, even being in that setting, there's not a lot of people that are just going to volunteer, because, it was not a paid thing at all. So getting aligned with that group of people who took their time to do something to help somebody else. And then, I don't know, this has been years since I've known her. And then later on, when she put out that she was doing some editing, I was like, I think you could do this for me. And she mostly edits for other, like, she does wedding photography. She has a wedding photography business and like a portrait photography business and all of that. But I was like, I think you can do this, just knowing her skill set. But
yeah, it sounds like an awesome work relationship. Very, very productive. So I want to take us back to some of the work that you did before launching Morsel Envy. So you worked as an airline attendant, and that's really interesting to me because part of my interest in studying in authenticity comes from the work of a sociologist named Arlie Russell Hochschild. Hochschild wrote a book called The Managed Heart, and she wanted to understand the kind of emotional weight of service work where people were always engaging in impression management behaviors. And she coined this term emotional labor. This was in the 80s. And it has inspired so much scholarship on the topic across the years. We oftentimes, for example, see that women are more likely to be in these positions that require this emotional labor. But airline attendants were an area of study for Hochschild where she really came to understand emotional labor. So thinking about what it was like to be an airline attendant, tell me about what it meant to be authentic within that setting, and could you be authentic?
That was actually a lot harder because I definitely had to put on a face. Like if something was going wrong, like I obviously couldn't be freaking out like, oh yeah, we just lost an engine. So, I'm going to tell everybody and have them. So, I mean, I had this this is my face. It's fine. I'll be like talking to the pilots and they'll be like, we're going to have emergency landing. So you need to prepare the cabin. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like it's fine. Like we're great. Like, yep, everything's good. And, go through and just prepare like a normal landing without freaking anybody out, because I knew that would, the more stress, the more chaos if something were to happen, but to still be prepared. So, I mean, it was probably the least authentic, but also knowing that there was a purpose behind it. Like I wasn't trying to deceive them for some kind of financial gain or something. It was something for their safety. So it was, I don't know. It was inauthentic, but it felt right in a certain way. So
yeah, that makes sense. And it's interesting, Melanie, now that you're sharing that, there have been many times when we are with our kids together where you are so cool, calm, and collected under pressure. Where I'm coming undone and you're just totally regulated in the moment. And it's interesting because when we think about that work, I agree with Hochschild's assessment of emotional labor and the demands of that. I wonder if it's necessary, if you were necessarily being inauthentic though, or were you doing that work in a values aligned way that actually ultimately was authentic to you?
I guess that's an interesting way of looking at it, because I don't know, I never really thought about it like that. I mean, I am definitely a nervous person. And so I think before being a flight attendant, I would be very like, oh my God, the plane's gonna go down. Like we're gonna stress out, everybody's gonna die. Like, and so then it's like, I cannot do that. So it's kind of like refraining myself from acting like, and even, I'm always a very nervous person, but I try not to be like, especially around my kids, because I would never want them to pick up on that and feel that energy. So it's definitely like kind of a, I don't know, like a way to preserve their peace of mind in stressful situations. But
that's interesting. I've actually done a bit of research with one of my former students, Jacob Hayward, on this idea of emotion work in the Disney park setting.
I talked about that after this,
looking at like the different ways that parents engage or disengage when they're doing character meet and greets. Because when you go to Disney, you'll see some parents that are more involved with Cinderella than the child. Yeah. And then you'll see some other parents who are kind of like outsourcing the work to Disney of you've got this, I'm going to step back.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting to think about emotion work within the setting and the context of parenting. So I'm wondering, in your experience as an airline attendant, was there a moment that you remember that you felt was the most taxing in terms of emotional labor, where like it was just really hard to keep it together?
When I was pregnant with my oldest, I was still flying at the time. So I was very, very sick, and I don't even know how I flew. So I was already tired and sick. And so trying to keep up with everything at the time. And like we had some very turbulent flights where, I think there was one flight where 20 passengers were sick.
Wow.
And I'm already like on the edge of being sick because I'm already just pregnant. So on a normal day, so I'm like trying to hold it together and like not letting my emotions get to me, but still keeping people safe and keeping them calm and meeting their needs and trying to figure it out. And then there was a couple incidents like health related that if a passenger wasn't doing well, like I don't like not knowing what happened to people after, but a lot of times if we had an emergency, they'd pull a person off and like you never find out what happened to that person. So I don't know.
So Melanie, doing that kind of work, how did you take care of yourself and your emotional needs? Like what self-care did you do to made you able to keep doing that work?
I don't think I have a good answer for that. There was definitely like a letdown at the end of the night where like you would go out with your crew and just kind of, I don't know. Did you probably drinking more alcohol than I should have? I don't know.
Did you all talk about that though? Did you process it? Did you talk about situations that might have been on the flight that were really taxing, or it was just kind of left behind?
It was a lot left behind, and there were certain, like we always had to do incident report if anything had actually happened, but it was a lot. Like you don't talk about it when it's gone. Kind of just. I don't know that there's a healthy response that I should have had, but I mean I was in my 20s and probably. Drinking and all that was probably more of a solution than it needed to be at the time, but that's my honest answer.
So we're gonna, no, I appreciate you sharing, and I'll move us into your time doing direct sales a little bit more. So tell me about kind of the authenticity challenges that you may have experienced when you were doing the direct sales work.
Okay, so there's always almost like tiers of people in a lot of companies, and so you're trying to make their sales as well as your sales. So, there'll be people like pressuring you need to do this, you need to get more. And it's like, I mean, that's why I feel like I was really horrible at it, especially, I mean, I sold Avon and I love Avon products still to this day. I will buy certain things, but then there are other things like there at the time was a low price skincare line and there was a high price skincare line. And I had tried both and the low price skincare line worked for me. So it was really hard for me to upsell this higher priced product when I knew as like a budget minded person that the lower budget one worked better. So trying to, you got to sell so much of this. And I'm like, I don't know that I can sell it if I don't believe in it, if it's not something that I think is worth the value. So that was hard for me because, I mean, I do want to do good. I do want to make money for my family. I do want to like help my team above me, but overall, I'm meeting with these customers. These are actual people. And I'm like, I can't be selling them something if I don't believe in it or if I think there's something equally as good at a lower price point. So
honesty is really important to you.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's really coming through. Okay. I'm curious if there is a place in the world where you find it easiest to be most authentic, where you kind of let all let it all.
Definitely the ocean or like the beach. I grew up, when I was really young, we had a stream beside our house. So I would go to the stream and just kind of like, I don't know, just be yourself. Just kind of, nobody was caring what you're doing. And I was an 80s kid, so I don't know where my parents were, but I was there at the stream by myself and could just, do whatever. And then later on, we moved near the ocean. We had beach rights, so I could go to the beach and just, it was a private beach shared between the neighbors and stuff. So it was just me. Like I wasn't there to impress anybody. I could just relax and I don't know, just the ocean itself and water is calming to me. So even now, like I'll be like, let's go to the beach just because I need to like unwind, relax. It's just comforting. So
it's just really a place where you find it easy to be true to yourself, to be true to your values.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't feel like it's different. I haven't found a beach quite the same because here it seems one, they're not as calm, and two, there's more people. And I'm like, no, I like a private beach, but it's like if you don't own a private beach, it's harder to find. I'm like, no, I just want peace and calm, and I want it to be serene, and I don't know. But
and it sounds like a lot of people and crowds might get in the way of that for you. So speaking of people, I think it's really, really important that we all have people that we feel we can be authentic around. And I'm wondering if you feel like you have those people in your life and how you found them.
I feel like I just can't put up with people who don't accept me as I am. Like, I definitely have weird quirks and stuff. So if after a couple times you've hung out with me and you don't vibe well, then I feel like it just naturally fizzles and I won't encourage that type of relationship. But I mean, I've said like you and other people that, I mean, I just feel like I could talk and say other than being on camera. I could talk and say anything and I wouldn't feel judged for it. And I think that's important. Like just knowing you can be honest with somebody and they're not going to judge you for your views or thoughts. So.
And I want to get your sense of your authenticity heroes or models. I know when we've talked about this before, your youngest daughter really tell me about that.
She's very spirited. It's funny because all of my kids were to a point, but she is the most like authentically herself and very like stubborn about it. Like she was like wearing red and green plaid cat pants one day and a purple cat shirt. And I was like, we're going to school. Like, is that what you're wearing? Of course, that's what I'm wearing. I love cats and this says cats and this is cats. So why wouldn't I wear it? And it's like, okay, I know parents might judge me for this, but I'm like, she's kindergarten. It's like, fine. And I hate that later on kids lose that because it's so fun. Like it's like, and she will just be honest about like, if she doesn't like something, if you made something, I don't like this. It's just, or like you're wearing something. Well, that doesn't look good on you. And it's like, it's not to be mean. It's just like what she thinks. And I don't know, just this vibe that, she will not do something if she does not want to. And I'm like, I wish I could do that, but it's like, you can't always do an adult like as you could at 6. Like if I wanted to wear a cat shirt and cat pants, people probably look like I was crazy, but like just certain things. Like I know
I'd love it.
Certain people, but and I appreciate that in people. Like when I recognize that somebody is doing something a little quirky, but they own it and they love it. I love that about people that just own that oddness or whatever. But
I think you really do make it easy for the people around you to be genuine. And I think that's a wonderful quality that you have. Thinking about your daughter and being 6, the need for social approval isn't all that pressing at age 6. We've talked about middle school as being the age when people really start to feel like there's this true self, false self. Do you think that social media is a force that is going to make children be worried about need for social approval at earlier and earlier ages?
Absolutely. And I am on social media and I find like I have to take breaks from it because even, I hate to say this, but I got in a disagreement with somebody on Facebook earlier that I didn't even mean to. And I'm like, what? Like, and then I'm like mad because I'm like, well, does this person like think this about me? And I'm like, why do I don't know who this person is. And I don't even know how this thing got into it. So I recognize it in myself and I'm like, I will still probably think about this for days later. And it was just like some random comment. And I'm like, I did not mean this in this negative way, but it turned into this thing. And if I, in my 40s, I'm still feeling this like pressure for approval. I'm like, I can imagine kids would feel it much more intensely. And they're in school and they're already with peers trying to find that approval from peers to have outside influences and things can be so crazy online sometimes that things get turned ways that they weren't intended to. And I really wish my kids were. My oldest is on some social media here and there and I wish he wasn't. And that's been a whole battle. But
do you think that there's any positive implications or ways that social media could be used to support authenticity?
Yes. And I've found that especially kids who don't find that support at home, I think they can find support online from communities where maybe say like their parents are super religious or say they have a different sexual preference or something that their parents wouldn't support. I think they can find communities that can be very successful supporting their needs. But it's just, I don't know. I just feel like it can go either way. And I don't know if I know how to navigate it, so I don't know how to expect kids to navigate that well too.
Yeah, I know that there are many people, myself included, who have some of the similar thoughts and feelings that you just shared. So we're coming to the close of the episode. And in doing so, I want to ask you kind of any hacks or tricks to keep yourself on course for authenticity.
Just really checking in with myself and how I'm feeling. Like, does this make me nervous? Does this make me uncomfortable? Is it because something good will come of it, or is it because I have to do something that I'm not comfortable with? Maybe just, really just checking in with myself and how I feel And I read this quote, one of my first jobs, that said, if you wouldn't do this in front of your mother, don't do it here. And I think about that a lot. I mean, my mother has passed, but it's like, if my mom were to see this, would she approve of it? And it's still, I don't know, it's like a good way, I think, like, to check in with yourself. Almost like, would you, if somebody saw this, would they approve of it? Would you be happy that somebody knew you did this? Kind of thought.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here on the episode with me today.
Yeah.
It's always fun to hang out with you. I'm glad we got to do this. And listeners, viewers, you can learn more about Melanie's work at www.morselenvy.com. And I look forward to sharing more insights about how to be authentic AF on our next episode. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Being Authentic AF. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to our series wherever you get your podcasts so that you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep being authentic AF and let that authenticity uplift and inspire others. Take care.